Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Yulia Putri Utami. I'm from PBAP. In this video, I will explain the material about the scope of discourse analysis. In this material, we will discuss what exactly is the focus of discourse analysis and what discourses should be analyzed. First of all, we must know what is the purpose of conveying the message. The purpose of conveying a message is to communicate or to convey concept and information to others. In communicating, there is a process of delivering message, concept, ideas, and informations. After knowing about the main purpose of conveying a message, perhaps the next questions that will arise in our minds is how to convey the message. There are two ways we can convey the message, namely a spoken and writing. And I will briefly discuss both of them. The first is spoken discourse. There are three things we must know when discussing spoken discourse. That is, every time using language. Language is generally shown using speech or orally. Each language is a goal that contains a series of conventional system of sound. What is conventional of sound is the adequate knowledge of the sound system or pronunciations. So the point is that when speaking, there is a sound system used, and this sound system has been agreed upon by the speakers of the language. And the last or the third is the real representation of spoken discourse is a speaking, and speaking talks about spoken discourses. So to get an understanding of spoken discourse, we must first understanding about speaking. Okay, speaking is a skill in the language used to convey a message orally. To master speaking, we must know or have knowledge in a vocabulary, because of course, when we want to speak, we must have vocabulary. The next, pronunciations. Pronunciation skills are very important so that messages are easily conveyed properly and correctly, as well as grammar skills, which are no less important. The next ability is coherence, or the ability to compose well-structured sentences so that they are easy to understand. Furthermore, fluency or the average speed of people when speaking, where this speed is determined by the habit of speaking when speaking using the first language or mother tongue. And the last ability is comprehensive, namely the ability to make a sequence that can be understood by others. And to master these abilities, it must be accompanied by previous abilities. Next, I will talk about any type of speaking. There are two main categories: are speaking in a classroom and speaking in a social context. According to Richard, 2008, humans speak using three functions. There are interactions, transactions, and performance, and these three are the scope of spoken discourse. The first is speaking as interaction, when the main characteristic is that it aims to build good social relationships. The type of speaking as interaction is a conversation, where the conversation is a conversation that occurs within the scope of a native speaker and is considered as a spoken discourse that most often occurs in the context of two contexts, is a classroom conversation and casual conversations, or conversation outside the classroom. There are some differences between the both. But the most visible difference is that after casual conversation, there is no time limit and provisions when speaking or conducting conversation. While in a classroom conversations, the teacher determines who speak and the time used to speak. For example, the teacher says, I will invite you to ask questions, or please ask the goods to please ask to present their work, or please ask to present their work in front of friends for 10 minutes. Now I will discussing about classroom conversation. As I said earlier, that classroom conversation is a conversation that occurs in a classroom between students and teachers, where during the conversation, the teacher will limit the interactions between students and the teachers, and is limited by the time and space because they are only involved in communication in a class when the teachers teaches students. In addition, when in class, teachers and students will generally use a foreign language which aims to improve students' speaking and foreign language skills, English language skills. Teachers and students also communicate because of interest in teaching and learning, but do not interact naturally because of their social interest. There are several reasons for discourse analysis of classroom conversations. The first, to show special features in the terms of structures, functions, and any other, which are different from ordinary conversations. The second, encourage students to know and use it in a classroom. 3, to see what is happening in a classroom and evaluate and then evaluate it. Next is what to do in carrying out discourse analysis for classroom conversations. According to Richards and Schmidt, 2002, there are 5 approaches. There are sentence cohesions, namely the relationship between one sentence and another sentence in a structured manner. Turn taking is a process of taking the opportunity to speak. The third, the relationship between sentence, which is to see the relationship of meaning between one sentence and another. Next, speech moves is the movement from one unit to another unit. And the last is speech acts, which are the focus of classroom conversations discourse analysis. Discourse analysis from classroom conversation uses a speech act approach. According to Sinclair and Cloutard, in a conversation containing a discourse pattern, this discourse pattern is called IRF, which is used to analyze conversation between teachers and students. Okay, where's the pattern as follows. I is initiations. Initiations is a service to ask or ask questions that are conveyed to students when starting learning. R is a response or serves as an answer, where the teacher gives a questions, the student will respond by answering the questions. And F is a feedback function as a comment. When the student finishes giving the answer, the teacher will comment on the answer. Okay, the next is about the benefits. What are the benefits of using the discourse patterns above? There are 2 benefits that can be obtained when using these patterns. The first is culture information, whereas understanding the function can provide a culture's knowledge about how the learning process in a classroom is. And the second or last is culture adaptations, where when understanding its functions, the teacher's teaching style will be accepted because it is in accordance with the cultures. In addition to IRF pattern, there's also INR patterns. Um I is a initiation service to correct is a service to recollect informations, confirm conversations, and invite questions, and is a non-verbal response. And R is a reactions. Reaction has two functions. There are inviting questions and informing the next activity. The RFF pattern is usually widely used in foreign or native classes, while the INR pattern is widely used in found in Indonesian classes. Next, I will talk about how to find the internal structures. To be able to get information about the internal structure, where the internal structure can be identified by providing constraints. The boundary is marked as a slash. For single slash, the function is to provide a limit for each segment, while for double slash, the limit is given to each unit. The collection of segments is called a unit and is delimited by a double slash. The movement from one unit to another unit is called an exchange, and any part of the exchange is called a move, where each has carries a different function. There is an internal structure that occurs in a very conversation is ABA and TPT. For example, if a conversation has the internal structure of ABE, ABAB, or ABBA, it will be unnatural because it does not match what is the conversation. Okay, I think that's all from me. I apologize for all my mistakes. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.